Fashion. Fashion is fun. Don't you agree? I'm sure you would. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I, Shreeya Katyal, welcome you all to today's talk. I'm at Marwah Studios witnessing the third day of the third Global Fashion and Design Week. And yes, of course, we know that fashion without photography cannot survive. So I'm in conversation with a very talented fashion photographer, Mr. Vineet Modi. Let's converse with him and gather lots of inspiration. Hello, sir. Welcome to Marwah Studios today.
Thank you very much.
So let's hear something about your journey. Like, why and when did you step into the field of this creativity, I would say?
I think creativity is something that you're born with, and as artists, we all try with different genres of art mediums. So it could be painting, it could be music, photography, and then eventually I think the universe has a way of bringing it together to where you really belong.
Right.
So I think when I started with music, MTV happened. Then I started taking a lot of photographs for a lot of fashion brands, and gradually I was featured on fashion TV and stuff. So that really opened my eyes to a lot of global trends in fashion and music. And now I think where I'm seeing the way young people are experimenting with music and videos, and posting a lot of young talent coming up, so which is I think really inspiring. So yeah.
So we know that you hail from a fashion school in London. So how is your experience there, and what you have gathered from there? Because I want the young fashionistas to be inspired through your knowledge, your experience. So what you have learned during those years, the most vital thing, I would like you to share that.
I think what I learned during my stay in London was that India is really not far behind when it comes to fashion. I used to think that there is that whole thing of going abroad and studying and all that, which is great. I mean, it gave me a lot of exposure. But then I think I also really became close to my own roots and my own country. So going outside and dabbling with fashion, and I worked a lot with fashion photographers, with a lot of celebrities, with a lot of there was a lot of courses that I took up in fashion. So then I realized that yes, it does open up your mind, but then when you come back, you always want to go back to your roots.
So yes, the things we have, the rich Indian culture, the deep-rooted values, fashion statements, we have to keep them intact because we are blessed with the West. Sir, now I would like you to share something about the fashion photography and the fashion field, like how it supplements the fashion field.
I think when I started off as a photographer, it really opened my eyes to a lot of different avenues related to that. So I started experimenting a lot with fashion. I started studying a lot about fashion. I got to know what is in trend, because I think it was very important for me to know each and everything. I started reading up on a lot of magazines. I started going to a lot of events. Then I think I started dabbling a lot with, so still photography was one part, which once I realized that okay, I have a proper grip in that, I started dabbling with video. So then I started directing music videos. Then I started shooting a lot of films for fashion brands. So I run a studio here in Noida called Studio 63. So we're doing a lot of stuff where brands come in and or even musicians or artists, they want to come, or even actors, they want to get their portfolios made. So at the end of the day, it's all about so fashion. I think coming back to your question is that it's one part of the overall package. So you look at all the clothes, you look at the styling, you look at the hairstyle, you look at the makeup. Everything is an important part of the entire shoot that you're doing. So my role is now gradually moving more to direction, and I'm directing films for my studio. So I have a team of people who are doing shoots for me. So I come in as a person who can sort of look into the frame and just come and say that okay, this thing is working for this particular brand or for a particular actor or a musician, because ultimately the whole package needs to come together.
Exactly. Gone are those days when a man with one skill was the master, but now the person who has all the trades is the ultimate master. So jack of all trades is a master of none is an age-old saying.
I think once you master one thing, you realize that it really opens up your mind to a lot of things. Like when I started taking a lot of pictures, I started also doing a lot of sketching and painting and putting my photographs into paper. So and once that bit was sort of, I felt that okay, that's something I have a grip on. Then I started dabbling with video, because if I feel that if I would have started with video like back in the day, I wouldn't have really understood how moving frames work with photos. So ultimately, if you talk about 24 frames per second, what is it? It says the still frames which are being showcased 24 times. jobs. But that is something you can't understand if you don't know the basics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think a creative person is directly proportional to a knowledgeable person, and knowledge, learning is an ongoing process. So creativity has no limit. That what I can see in your journey as well. How was your experience today at Marwah Studios witnessing the Fashion Week? I think you have a workshop over here also. So how was the interaction and what questions did you get from the students today?
So, Mr. Amit, who is basically heading the department for music, was kind enough to invite me for conducting a talk, and I realized that the students these days are very, very enthusiastic. They have a lot of questions. They're very talented. So, I just want to tell them that don't follow any trends or don't try and copy other people. I saw a lot of inquisitive sort of behavior, and which is very good. I think everyone's got a lot of knowledge now. Gone are the days when like used to just look at news channel for information. Now everyone's got information at their fingertips. So you can't fool people now. But at the same time, I think there is a whole boundary that you need to draw between being over smart and also like coming back to what you're really good at. So my message to all the young people would be that just stay humble, work really hard at your craft, and practice every day. Make sure that you just put your head down and work, and don't really care about what's happening outside, because once you get influenced by what other people are doing, it impacts you probably in a way that you don't necessarily want. So just stick to your roots and do the best thing that you can at that particular time, and trust me, things will happen.
So guys, do you realize that keeping your originality intact is really very important? And of course, confidence is a bliss, but overconfidence kills. Thank you, Mr. Vineet, for talking to MSTV and gracing the occasion today.